What's a good word? I'm Zach, and this is The Blend. The Blend is a show by the Ubisoft community team about how you impact and influence the games we make. And this show, as a matter of fact, is very much a product of that as well. Thank you very much for all the comments, the tweets, and everyone who contributed to the poll and that survey that we ran at the end of the last episode. We'll share the results at the end of this episode. And while we're here, we're going to talk Rainbow Six Siege. Season 2, Dustline, is upon us now. We're going to chat with our friend Justin Kruger, recently left the North Carolina support office to get his promotion and join the development team in Montreal. We're going to talk about the new operators, the new map, and tons of quality of life improvements which are now live right now. So let's dig in.
What's up, Justin? Thanks for joining us here on The Blend.
Hey, what's up, Zach? How's it going?
Life is good, and very much thank you. I appreciate it. I know you've been super busy traveling the world and whatnot for Rainbow Six Siege, but you're back in Montreal and hopefully well-rested and ready to go.
Very well-rested, super ready to go. We're launching Season 2 of Dustline today. I'm really excited for it, but I'm really happy to be chatting with you today.
Yes, and we'll definitely dig into to Season 2 Operation Dustline in a few minutes. But first, I think as is sort of the case with what we're going to be doing with the Blend, I think it's very important that we understand exactly who it is we are talking with. And in this case, it's you, Justin Kruger, who came very recently actually to the Montreal studio after being part of the support office in North Carolina for quite some time. Take us through that briefly, if you could.
Yeah, sure. So that is right. I'm fairly new to the Montreal office, about a month and about actually just 2 months in, but I've been at Ubisoft since October of 2013, and I actually started on Trackmania and Shootmania as part of my first taste of Ubisoft. Slowly but surely, I've worked on Trials Fusion. And then in 2014, I was moved on to Assassin's Creed as community manager.
You did a lot of fun stuff with the community as well, as far as the live stream goes.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was an amazing opportunity to really test a couple of things and a couple of different projects and a couple of different ideas that I wanted to do and create with the community. One of the most notable ones was Unity Community Unites for Assassin's Creed Unity. I absolutely loved it. Yeah. It was a weekly stream that I hosted with an influencer or a couple influencers, and we just play the game and talk with the community and chat. So that was a really, really rewarding experience for me.
I do want to get back to Rainbow Six, but
sure.
First, I guess a big important question, I guess, is how do you see life, changing? What are the different challenges that come with going from the support office to the production studio, let alone Ubisoft's biggest?
Well, first of all, I moved countries.
There's that too. Yeah.
There's not it's not an easy thing, obviously, but actually moving into the Montreal office has been really amazing. Being able to go up to the producer's desk or the lead game designer's desk or an artist and sort of get a perspective as to, a face-to-face perspective as to what perhaps an issue is, or perhaps, what the community is talking about on Reddit or on forums. I can get a much more clear understanding of what the process is behind that and what the ideas are behind that and what they're looking into when presenting, an issue that the community is talking about. So
and that's actually, that brings up a good point, because one thing that I did want to ask you was, what's kind of like the first thing, other than, settling your affairs and moving and unpacking and embracing the different culture, what is kind of like the first thing that you set out to learn in the studio?
Yeah, so the first thing I set out to learn was the people. Put it simply, because everybody kind of organically creates meetings at your desk or going for coffee or wherever, but you need to know who the people are that are working on the game and their various roles. There are some really brilliant, amazing people in this office, and every single day I'm so happy and I enjoy working with them so much, just because you get so many different ideas and expertise that it's really kind of cool to when everybody meshes together and comes together for a specific issue or to address a specific topic within the community, and it's a really cool experience.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, with that being said, you have been integrating yourself in the studio, but you've also been traveling abroad quite a fair amount.
Yeah.
Going back to the States, going to Europe. I mean, all over the place, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We just got back from sort of our first Pro League tour, if you will, where we were at PAX East in Boston celebrating the Xbox One finals for the Pro League Season 1. And then we just got back from Cologne at the ESL Arena there in Cologne where we had the PC finals. Those experiences have been absolutely incredible, where you see the passion not only of the fans and the players that love this game, but also the Pro League players who are so passionate about this game. During the Cologne trip for the PC finals, we held a Pro League workshop where we had one-on-one discussions and also a roundtable discussion with each representative of the teams. And it was really cool to hear their feedback to us about the game and about how much they love this game. And one of the things that going to these events is you really get to learn more about the people behind these names on the web, and you really get a understanding of who they are and where they come from. And it's been really just amazing, emotional, intense experience over the past couple of weeks, but I absolutely loved it.
It's interesting because I knew I wanted to ask you about the idea of how esports or competitive gaming can have an impact as far as feedback goes on the development of the game or the ongoing process that goes to the overall improvement. But you guys are having these one-on-one meetings. What are the kinds of things that you are digging into? I mean, how in depth does it get? How granular, and how does the dev team in turn process that information?
Well, it is extremely granular. When you're talking on such a high level as the Pro League, where these players are sinking 10 to 15 hours a day into playing one game, and that is the only thing they're doing, those players are probably going to know a thing or two about the really fine minutia about the game. Yeah. And so we covered everything from their opinions of the operators to the maps to the opinions of ESL itself. And it was kind of fun because a lot of things they were complaining about is going to be fixed in Season 2.
Well, you obviously touched on Season 2 and the changes that are going to be coming with Operation Dustline. And I'm curious, when you bring up things like the cosmetic changes, what's the reception that we're seeing from that? Because I know it's led to some interesting conversations on your various social channels.
Yeah, and whenever we implement a new feature, there's going to be two sides of the party. These kinds of customizations are introduced in order to provide a little bit of more detail and personality. Some people complain that it may break the realism or the sort of intenseness of Rainbow Six Siege, and that's something we're looking at, obviously. But at the same time, we do implement things like, in terms of the charms, you can add a blood type charm that shows, what your blood type is for the operator. So there is a certain element of realism that goes into it, and we want to make sure that we're catering towards those very hardcore players that think about that every single day. But we also want to cater towards the casual player who just wants, maybe a cute chibi on their gun, or a fun skin that's like a poutine skin or something like that. So so those are the kinds of things.
That's the Montreal trickling in.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Nice. So yeah, I mean, it's we look at both sides and we listen to the community and we react to their feedback that they're telling us. So yeah.
And it's interesting as well because obviously with Operation Dustline comes a new map and comes a couple of new characters as well, operators. And I know there's obviously a lot that goes into the creation of new operators. And in this instance, it's Valkyrie and Blackbeard. And I guess if you can speak about sort of how that works and what kind of balancing efforts go into play, because obviously these are two operators that have been worked on for quite some time. and the reception I've seen so far, anyways, has been overwhelmingly positive considering the gadgets and what new elements they're bringing to the game.
Yeah, the reception has been very positive, and people are so excited right now. It's a really exciting time for Rainbow Six Siege, probably the most exciting time since launch. This is the biggest patch we've released, and so much content is going into it. And going on to your question about balancing and creation of these operators, it really starts from the concept of a house. So when you're the owner of a house, you want to do all the fancy, cool things like adding on new features or adding on a new wing of the house or a new room.
I'm redoing my kitchen right now.
There you go, exactly.
It's grueling.
It's very challenging, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's things like that that are sexy and attracting and people really love. But what we really need to focus on are the core mechanics of the game, the bug fixes, and all of that. But the entire foundation of that rests on operator balance. And so if it's not balanced, it's not going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And that's something that whenever I talk to the game designers, they really stress that if it's not fun, it doesn't go in the game.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I mean, to see how this all evolves, and you see how the community reacts, and obviously the community is incredibly influential in balancing the iteration, the creation of maps. I know when you guys revealed on the stream from Cologne what Border was going to look like. I know I saw the chat, and it was going wild. You talk about the destructibility. What you guys are doing with Border seems to be sort of pushing that to the next level, which is incredibly intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely. For Border, it's a small to medium-sized map, and the amount of destructibility is insane. And I think that's going to change the way that people really approach the objectives. And I find myself discovering a new pathway within the building, and I think that's going to be really fun for the fans.
So what is it that you are most excited about for the Season 2 integration?
It's all the quality of life fixes that are going into the game, and also a lot of the operator balancing changes between round customizations. Being able to swap out your attachments in between rounds is something that people have been wanting forever, and it is so great to be able to say, yes, you can now do this. And that's really fun for me, because I know it's that's probably the number one community features that gets requested in game in terms of like, this would make my life so much easier, and we're actually giving that to them.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to touch on one element as well, which is something that obviously the community discusses, and that's obviously dealing with cheating. I know,
sure.
we're it's not an entirely solved issue right now, but you guys on the development team are taking strides to make it a much better quality of life, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cheating is something that I work on every day, and I discuss every day. I see it on the forums, I see it in Twitch chat, I see it on Twitter, I see it on everywhere. With the start of Season 2, we are laying the foundation, the groundwork for upcoming changes. For example, we provided the Code of Conduct, which is sort of a disciplinary matrix of infractions that will be applied to various accounts doing various toxic behavior. So, and cheating is very much included in that. And we're also working closer with our partners like Fairfight and ESL to make a more strict policy and ban escalation process with that. And additionally, we are looking into other software programs and really just trying to identify the absolute correct solution to this problem.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for doing this. Congratulations on the launch of Season 2. Operation Dustline is now a thing for everyone.
It is.
And good luck keeping track of all that's going on in the community. I know it's a wild bunch that are obviously really passionate about the brand and the franchise and Rainbow Six Siege. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Big thanks to Justin Kruger getting into all the details about Season 2, which again is live right now for Rainbow Six. You can check out all the details as well on Rainbow Six's website as well. They've got a fantastic feature, a community spotlight, which we actually didn't have enough time to dig into in the interview, but hopefully we'll get to revisit that down the line. The big question, what are you most looking forward to in Season 2? We've got Valkyrie and Blackbeard and Border. That's one sort of option right there. We've also got the quality of life improvements, big changes to Rainbow Six Siege, and then the personalization opportunities with the charms and the headgear and all that jazz. What is your opinion? As far as last week's big question, we had the For Honor COMDEVs wearing the same thing, Eric and Emil, and we put it to you. What do you think they should do about that? 66% of you said it's cool and they should keep it up. We had just under 5% of you say it's silly, stop the madness, and then the remaining 29% or so said, let's let fate decide for us all. We'll be forwarding those results to the team and, we'll get set for a lot more plaid and flannel and stuff. So, yeah. Wonderful opportunity. We got our very first video question from a viewer. Jamar, what's on your mind?
Outside of contests like the For Honor contest, what is Ubisoft's current roadmap, if you do know, to promoting the community and building it as a whole and keeping us involved? Again, I think that that's really important. What Ubisoft is doing is really unique. So if you could share with us if you have any intel on that. Thanks.
That's a great question, Jamar. Thank you very much. It's really interesting because obviously each brand does a really good job of working with their respective communities. But as we look on a broader level, Ubisoft as a whole, last year at E3 we introduced the Star Player Program, which is really it's an opportunity for us to engage a little bit more so with the communities, and each brand brings some representatives, and the idea is to inform and empower so they can take that knowledge that they gain at various events like E3, Gamescom, whatever it may be, and then they can do what they want with that information to sort of further foster the community as well. If you've got a question, by all means leave a comment or send me an email, theblend@ubisoft.com. It goes right to me and maybe we can feature you in a future episode. On the next time we meet, it'll be with Gabe Graziani, COMDEV from Ubisoft Montreal, and we'll be chatting about some of our favorite E3 memories as the path to LA is one step closer. We're almost there. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for all the feedback and the feedback that is surely to come. Peace from Ubisoft Toronto.